Alright, hello again. This will be my final Dark Ages stream. Which, before I do so, I did want to just go through something real fast. So with 22 levels, it's going to be roughly 7 levels per, phase of the game if you go off of, you know, early game, mid game, late game. So I just wanted to go through that real quick because uh, Siege Part 2 marks the end of the early game, and then mid game is Abyssal Forest. 5, 6, 7 is Spire of Nerithul, which makes sense because that caps out with you getting the BFC, or the BFG for the game. And then from there, it's just the end game. You got the final boss, you got the boss fights in the mech, you have your last little go in Hell, as a zombie, another siege mission, and then all of your Eldritch Realm stuff. Which I would actually argue From Beyond is the final game of the mid game, or final level of the mid game, because it would be Abyssal Forest, Ancestral Forge, where you get your shield runes, and then the last one would be From Beyond, which is that dragon mission, which is really short. And then, yeah, Spyro Nerithul, in my opinion, is the transition from mid to late game. Like, the first half of the level, I'd argue it's mid game, and then by the time you've opened up all the seals for Cthulhu, or the old one, yeah, that's late game. And then late game, yeah. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to go through the lore. So I'm gonna open up Village of Kaleem, and I'm gonna watch the opening cutscene full all the way through. In the age of fire and ruin, when the legions of hell first set foot upon Argent D'Nur, another came, an outsider, his path to their world carved in blood, for the demons could not escape his wrath. The night sentinels, desperate and broken, saw in him a weapon. Their gods, ever watchful, saw something more. They had bestowed upon him strength beyond mortal flesh, speed beyond thought, a gift, now tethered to their will. He's a freak on a leash. The intro shot, the just sound of rushing wind, the rain, the thunder, the pentagram in the sky. Brutality. Him who wins. Flawless victory. That got hair going down their spine. They're kind of gross. They're very monkey-esque. Oh, hey, it's the witch. And Charon? Oh, that's a hell priest.
Fool's errand, witch. You have wasted our time once again.
We will not leave here until the heart of Argent is found. It is close.
The Horde will tear this village to pieces, but our time is running out. Soon, the humans will summon him.
I love how they just say him. Like, nobody even knows his name. It's just the Doomslayer, Doom Guy, the Unchained Predator, the Slayer.
Inside the village.
The demons couldn't get past the barrier, so their followers are letting them in. Thira.
The transports. How much time?
Get me the new bishop. Valen's armored division is still an hour
The new
away.
bishop.
We could try and launch the Atlands.
There is no time.
Got the direct line to the
Bishop
Creed.
We need him.
And Creed's already above the city. And they're protected by a barrier. That's kind of messed up.
Commander. Thera. This
Didn't even know her name.
must remain guarded.
The village of Kalim is a mining settlement. If it falls, everything will be destroyed, including your Sentinel energy reserves.
It's like, you know you need the energy. The con makers got you
Launch the
underfoot.
Slayer.
It's like the con maker needs you to be getting that energy. If you don't, you're screwed, buddy.
Total purification targeted for the village of Kalim.
Total purification. And it's like, yeah, oh, that's sick. And I have my nightmare skin on. Oh, the red eyes, the mark of the Slayer on the mask. Oh, it looks so sick.
Launching the Slayer in 3, 2, 1. Release.
And yeah, he's launched. He's not like sent down in an energy like thing and remanifested. He just sent out like a cannon. Oh, it's so sick. Oh, right. Have to hit this button to pull this up. Which I'm just gonna go and do this for my own sake because I'm gonna be doing a extra life playthrough, and honestly, an all nightmare skinned Doom guy is gonna be pretty sick. Which I do think it's funny that they do have it as like a trickle down thing, where it's like Nightmare is the one that you find throughout the levels. Like that's one that you just obtain by going through a level. Conqueror is the one you get for the mastery challenges. You have to max out the weapon, and then you have to do a challenge, and it's the hardest to get. And Reverent is the one that you get for doing a specific mission challenge during the game. It's easier because you don't have to max out the weapon, you don't have to spend a Wraith Stone, and then do the challenge. And the challenge that you have to do for the Reverend skin is usually much easier than whatever the Conqueror's one is. But I do find it very funny that it is in the same trickle down as you beat the game, you get the Nightmare skin. You find the collectible on the level, you get the Nightmare skin. You beat the game on extra life mode, you get Reverent. You complete a certain mission challenge during the game, you get the Reverent skin. And then Conquer is beat the game on Ultra Nightmare, and then in game it's complete the mastery challenge by maxing out the weapon. And I just do think that's a funny trickle down effect. But on to the lore. So I'll be going through each lore page one by one, going from weapons, characters, enemies, locations, and I'll be making little comments about it as well as I go. But first, the combat shotgun. Forged from the embers of Earth's primitive weaponry and tempered by the advanced craftsmanship of Argent D'Nor, the Slayer's combat shotgun has a relic of his arrival in a world besieged by chaos. Originally discovered beside the bloodied and battered figure of the Slayer when he emerged from the portal, this single-shot weapon bore the unmistakable marks of his homeworld's design. The Night Tentacles, despite their wariness of the Outlander, augmented his weapon with their arcane technology to reinforce its frame and imbue it with devastating power. This shotgun became a symbol of defiance, carving through the demonic hordes and etching the Slayer's legend into the annals of Argent D'Nor. So my whole thing with this is it feels incorrect. Like, if this was like a comment for the super shotgun, that might make a little more sense. Like, it was reinforced and made even more powerful. That might feel better to me. Because the whole thing is that in Eternal, the super shotgun is like a relic from his past. So it would make more sense continuity-wise if it was like he arrived on Argentinura with his super shotgun, and then when he was a gladiator and he was sent to the front lines to fight against Hell, they handed him back his weapon reinforced, and then when he became the Slayer, like after he was in Hell for a time, he just, got it upgraded again with the like meat hook, and that was like how they explained that. That would be fine. And so they're like, nah, the combat shotgun is what it was that he arrived on this world with. He arrived with a pretty basic weapon. And then I'll get to the super shotguns lore a bit later, but it frustrates me a little bit. The Power Gauntlet. Slayer's Power Gauntlet, forged under the Maker's discretion despite opposition from the Sentinel High Priest, amplifies his devastating strength. It is embedded with iron conduits, which channel raw Sentinel energy into arcs of crackling lightning, which surge with every strike. Inspired by the Slayer's vicious combat style, these gauntlets were designed to maximize his brutality against Hell's hordes, a weapon of defiance and destruction. It symbolizes both the Slayer's might and the Sentinel's uneasy alliance with him. The Shredder is a masterpiece of Sentinel ingenuity, a full-auto marvel designed to unleash a torrent of razor-sharp steel bolts. Built for speed and precision, it employs a rotating drum of smaller projectiles, each honed to a needle point for maximum penetration. The weapon's heart is its crystalline core, extracted from the volcanic depths of Mount Caldrath, which generates kinetic force to fire bolts in rapid succession. Lightweight and brutal, the Shredder was favored by scouts and vanguard warriors who needed to rain destruction while maintaining mobility. The weapon's punishing volley cuts through flesh, armor, and bone alike. Shield Saw. The Slayer Shield Saw is a brutal fusion of defense and carnage. Was engineered by Sentinel Forge Lords, crafted from Oblivion Ion and fueled by Sentinel energy. Its spinning, wraith steel blades tear through demonic hordes with malicious efficiency. Despite its immense weight and searing heat, the Slayer wields it effortlessly. So it's like Sentinel energy that's powering it, along with its motor that he has to rev with a pole, is generating a lot of heat, which makes sense. But you'd think that they'd still make it to where it could disperse the heat well enough, or at least channel it into the blades themselves so that it had a melting effect as it chainsawed through shit. I don't know. Also, I am 90% certain people who are working on the Oblivion remaster, or the remake, whatever they're calling it. It's a remake, but they're calling it a remaster, so whatever. I'm 90% sure that the team that was doing that was also working on Dark Ages, because there's so much that feels like Oblivion. The Accelerator marks a groundbreaking achievement in the collaboration between Sentinel and Maker Technology, being the first weapon to harness a hybrid electrothermal core. This innovative core channels superheated plasma through a contact shock chamber from a frozen, hardened shell around the plasma to create a ballistic round. Upon impact, these plasma rounds unleash a small yet powerful explosion that makes it effective against both armor and carapace. The weapon's advanced heat dispersal technology allows soldiers to maintain an extremely high rate of fire and adjust the firing properties of the gun, offering flexibility and adaptability in combat, which for the Slayer just means that he maxes out fire speed and projectile damage. Screw recoil, screw anything like that, he wants max stats. The Pulverizer is a weapon spoken about in hushed tones, born from the madness of a Sentinel engineer corrupted by cultists. Reclaimed by the Night Sentinels during a daring raid, its enigmatic design remains a mystery, with whispers of it being powered by the souls of its victims. This weapon resembling an engine of death, crushes curse-marked demonic skulls and scatters shards with stumblers. As the Slayer wields this formidable tool, the weapon itself seems to tremble with anticipation, hungry for the carnage to come. The Impaler, a relic of the Sentinel's ancient crusades, is a semi-automatic weapon forged for devastating precision. Powered by a crystallized hammer, the weapon fires massive spikes, capable of piercing nearly any armor known to their world. Though retired in modern times due to its immense weight and the rarity of its components, The Slayer wields it with ease, proving its timeless efficiency. Basically, like, yeah, we have this ballista, but we have, like, lasers now, so we don't really need ballistas anymore, and Doomguy's like, every weapon has a place in my arsenal. You're coming with me, bad boy. The Super Shotgun. Inspired by the Slayer's success with the modified combat shotgun, the finest engineers of the Night Sentinels were tasked by the makers to create a weapon of pure devastation, one that would not merely serve, but define the battlefield. Built with dual barrels to amplify its destructive potential, the Super Shotgun was constructed using the strongest materials in Argentinaire, capable of enduring the unimaginable forces it unleashed. Its design incorporated a unique black powder derived from the fossilized remains of ancient beasts native to their world. The weapon's thunderous roar became a harbinger of doom, one so feared that demons would falter and retreat. Its unmistakable sound, like a clarion of death wielded by the unyielding hand of the Slayer. I feel like klaxon would be a better word there instead of clarion, but whatever. It's its choice. It's like, they could have just said, hey, they found the they found the Super Shotgun. They made a version of it that they gave him later, which was the combat shotgun that he's using now, and it's like, that's fine. And then it's like, they were working on how to reinforce the Super Shotgun after finding out how it worked to make it even better, and then that could have been like the weapon that he's had with him the whole time, except for in 2016. The Cycler. This formidable weapon harnesses the advanced electrothermal core technology pioneered by the Accelerator, elevating its offensive capabilities by generating large crystals plasma spikes in two simultaneously cooled generators. These spikes were expelled from the pharaonic subtubes, when expelled from the pharaonic subtubes, easily pierce the formidable hides of Hell's most resilient adversaries. The Flail is a weapon of unmatched brutality, crafted to channel the Slayer's ferocity in close combat. Its unbreakable chain links, forged from Etherion steel, swing a flail head imbued with an inferno core, a crystal of searing power that ignites its victims upon impact. Intricate runes carved by the High Priest adorn the flail head, serving as both a blessing and a guide to the Slayer's righteous fury. It is funny that he has like 3 elemental weapons for melee. He has his fists, which are electric. He has the flail, which is fire, which gives armor. So it's basically the glove does electric damage, which makes them take more damage. Flail does fire, which gives armor. And then the Dread Mace, which we'll get to that in a moment, is just power. Now, do you think it is funny that they use all these different metals, like Oblivion Iron, Wraith Steel, Etherion Steel? It's like, can't you just keep with it? Like, just say that it's like, they're going to be like Oblivion Iron, sure, that's fine. Wraith Steel, that can be their name for steel, cool. Why do you have to keep changing, like, the names? Like, just keep it like, yeah, Etherion, Wraith Steel, whatever. The Chain Shot is a terrifying artifact, pulsating with a sentient malevolence that whispers from the abyss. Born from the unfathomable depths of forgotten realms, it channels chaotic energies, hurling its projectiles with a force that tears reality itself. Its origins are veiled in ancient lore, rumored to be crafted by deities who once held dominion over the stars. The weapon crackles with azure lightning, each shot imbued with sinister malice. Only the strongest of wills can withstand its insidious whispers, which gnaw at the edges of the wielder's insanity. This is where I'll point out as well. Any codex page that involves like the eldritch, cosmic, or Lovecraftian realms or lore is always going to be green. That's how they mark it as different. It's like hell, everything else, red. Cosmic eldritch shit? That shit's green. Grenade launcher. The grenade launcher forged during the storied siege of Karathal was a pivotal creation in the Sentinel's struggle against the off-world hordes of the Zyvorian Conclave, whatever that is. Designed as a stationary weapon, its powerful projectile system delivers devastating force with unerring reliability. In Slayer's hands, it becomes a dynamic instrument of chaos, shattering Hell's demonic phalanxes and their resolve. I don't like it still. I get it, and it's fine to have like a different take on the rocket launcher. Less splash damage, has like an arc to it. Cluster bombs, fine. I just still prefer my rocket launcher. Speaking of whom, the rocket launcher, born from the grenade launcher's design, emerged in the wake of the Zyvorian conflict as a revolutionary anti-air defense weapon. Powered by Wintherin fire, they could have just called it Wyverian, but whatever. Wintherin fire, and reinforced with the creature's scales, early models unleashed unbridled destruction. However, with the Wintherins declared sacred, endangered, later versions adopted conventional propulsion. The Slayer's launcher remains the last to wield the ancient Dragonforge technology, its fire blast emboldening the battle-worn dragons of the Sentinels. So basically, every time he uses the rocket launcher, the dragons in the battle are like, hell yeah, we got a brother in the field. So I get that you can't make any more rocket launchers with the like old power and design, but like you can still use the old ones unless they've just been broken. The Ravager is a fearsome variant of the Skull Crusher, its existence classified due to its arcane origins. This weapon channels lethal shards through a focused path, growing more powerful as it reaches peak fire rate. The Ravager's use is kept hidden from the public, as the Sentinels grapple with the moral implication of harnessing such an unnatural source of munition. As the Ravager roars to life and its runic engravings blaze with a sinister glow, and some operators claim to hear the haunting echoes of tortured souls within. Ballistic Force Crossbow, another green weapon, letting you know it's kind of cosmic. Crafted by the Astral Forge Kings, the Ballistic Force Crossbow was a weapon of cosmic might, bestowed upon the Night Sentinels millennia ago to combat unknown force of darkness. This formidable crossbow fires the Eldritch Lance, a bolt infused with an unknown material composition that radiates with otherworldly power. The lance's impact can pierce any defense, unleashing cataclysmic destruction. And the Dread Mace, the final weapon you get. And it's, again, a green weapon. It is funny that it's like you get the Chain Shot as like an Eldritch weapon kind of early on in Siege 1. And then your next one that you get is the Ballistic Force Crossbow in the Spire of Nadrathul, I believe it is. And then the city is where you get the Dread Mace. Amongst the scholars of Argent-D'Nur, the Dread Mace stands as a weapon cloaked in mystery and dread. Its origin and material composition remain unknown, alien to anything the Sentinels have ever encountered before. It is infinitely dense and roiling with energy beneath its surface. Its mere presence distorts the mind, rendering Sentinel scientists and engineers incapable of conducting thorough examinations. Okay, that's kind of cool. So it's infinite density. It's basically an infinite mass punch, but because it's cosmic, it's kind of self-contained, and that's why when you pick it up as the Slayer, he like kind of drops it a little bit, like he's picking it up, and then it like gets jolted when it's out of its little containment thing, and he's like, oh, it's heavy. I like it. Okay, cool. And its presence distorts the mind. So like the Chain Shot, you have to have a strong will to be able to get through wielding it. And now on to the characters. A spectator of doom from realms unknown, the Outlander stalks Argent-D'Nur's battlefield with a fury that silences all who witness it. Though strange to Sentinel eyes, they recognized the Bloodlust in his Bloodlust a terrible ally when Hell's legions darkened their skies. The Makers, ancient and calculating, saw in this silent warrior a vessel for their divine will. They infused his flesh with the celestial might, binding his soul to their cosmic designs. Yet what they forged was no mere weapon, but a tempest of vengeance the gods now fear to control. As demons hunt for forgotten relics, the Slayer strains against divine chains, his protection of the besieged realm born not of loyalty, but of an unquenchable thirst for demon blood that neither heaven nor hell can sate. which is kind of funny that the whole thing's like, yeah, Sammer didn't have the Maker's consent. I feel like that's a retroactive thing, that they're like, yeah, we totally wanted him to, you know, get powered up by the Divinity Machine to save you guys. He became a little stronger than we expected, but we have a leash on him. He's okay. He's our attack dog, whereas in reality, it's, not the case. The Maker's like, fuck, why did Sammer put him in the Divinity Machine? We don't even know this guy. And now he's like, a god in mortal flesh? What the heck, man? D. Galoric. D. Galoric's work was focused on the preservation of ancient Sentinel lore and artifacts, a passion that set him apart from his peers who grew more aligned to the Maker doctrines. Though devoted to his sacred duty, D. Galoric found solace and meaning in a quiet, secret marriage to a commoner. This union, while forbidden by the strict traditions of the priesthood, was a private refuge for a man otherwise consumed by the weight of preserving a fading past. Poor guy. Creed Maker. Oh, like, Maker stuff is yellow. That's cool. Like, Hell stuff is in red. Sentinel stuff is like black, and Maker stuff is yellow. That's cool. Let me check that. So, yeah, like human, Sentinel. Sentinel. I guess not. I guess the colors is kind of just whatever. It's mainly just green for Eldritch, red and black for everything else. A newly appointed bishop of the ministry holds the critical responsibility of overseeing the steady flow of Sentinel energy to the Maker homeworld. Even as the specter of war looms ever larger, he has been commanded to remain steadfast in his position, ensuring that the transmission of this life-giving energy remains uninterrupted. By the decree of the Maker Council, the Slayer has been placed under the temporary charge of the Creed, a blade to be wielded against Hell and a shield to safeguard their dominion in the district. So he's very new. That's why he's like, Commander Thera. After he got like he's like, what's her name again? Thera? Okay. Commander Thera. That's rude. King Novik has ruled for over 40 years, marking him as the longest reigning monarch in Sentinel history. King Novice. Known as a valorous and boastful warrior in his youth, Novik's demeanor grew severe and distant after the death of his wife. Oh, she died. Their daughter Thera remains by his side as the presumed heir to the Sentinel throne. Now commanding the defenses of Argent D'Nur and their war against Hell, Novik continues to serve both his people and the Maker gods they worship. Prince Azorak. Born in the shadowed pits of Hell's blackest citadel, Azrak grew not in sinew, but in dread knowledge gleaned from dark priests. And that's a good way to say it, not strength or muscle, but in the mind and knowledge. While demonkind cowered before the one known as the Doomslayer, the young prince stood before the Elder Council, his voice ringing with ambition. By ancient blood oath, the hordes became his to command. Now Azrak consorts with the Witch, a pale sorceress from realms beyond starlight, forging an unholy alliance between their realms. Which, he is like the worst antagonist from Hell. Like, most of Hell is just strength, power, we can brute force this, we have to kill the Doomslayer. And he's the only one like, hey, let's put armor on some of our guys. Let's have mounted combatants. Let's make deals with other realms to try to kill this guy, because clearly we haven't been succeeding. Let's see if another power can help us with our little enemy here. And maybe we can earn an ally and get something more out of it as well. He's like scary, because the only one that's even close to this, like, intelligence isn't Olivia Pierce. She's manipulated by the Hell Council or something, presumably the Spider Mastermind in 2016. And she's technically smart, but she doesn't do anything with it. She unleashes the Hell Wave that turns the UAC on Mars into demons, either zombies or the Hell Soldiers. She opens a rift to Hell that sends the Doom guy back into Hell at Kattinger Sanctum. And that's really it. Eternal had the Con Maker, though, who technically got the closest. 60% of humans on Earth were killed. She struck a deal with Hell. So, again, that's like Hell making a deal is scary. Is Heaven and Hell teamed up and almost won. And the Con Maker was like wheeling and dealing, just like, we'll use the Icon of Sin, we got the Hell Priests, but the Icon of Sin as a backup plan. All that stuff, and it's like, okay. So Azrak is like a proto-Con Maker villain. That's cool. Oh, rip my boy. Rest in peace. The Slayer's Mecha Dragon. I do love how they called him Mecha. Like, not mech, not cyborg, but mecha. Ah, Mecha's so cool. I love. And that's an anime. That's an anime reference. It's gotta be. Because the whole thing is that in Japan, they call it mecha for, like, Gundams and stuff. And their word for, like, cyborgs and androids is the same, because it's just artificial human. So, like, Cyborg from Teen Titans and the Terminator would be called the same thing, because they're artificial. Anyway, Seret is a feral force unmatched in size and power. Unyielding to the Order of Aram, Seret accepted only the Slayer as his alpha, forming a volatile bond. Seret was grievously wounded by Hell's hordes in the Battle of Black Pyres, but the Slayer's heroic intervention saved him, a moment of humanity rarely shown by the outsider. Under Commander Thera's orders, the Sentinels transformed Seret with advanced engineering, melding his savage might with mechanical precision. Now reborn as a fearsome war machine, Seret continues his role as the Slayer's ultimate mount, an apex predator of flesh and steel. Which, when you think about it like that, makes a lot of sense why when Doomguy was hurt by Azrak, and he actually got stabbed and wounded, Seret was fucking pissed. And like, I'm gonna save him the same way he saved me, and he just unfortunately wasn't up to the task. But that also is a statement of just like why Thera trusts Doomguy so much, because she was the one that was able to see that he is more than just his rage. He does have compassion and empathy. It's just, if there's demons around, he wants to kill the demons, but he doesn't want to put anyone else's lives at risk doing so. And this is also pre-Divinity Machine, too. Because, well, presumably, because it's like, this feels like it was pre-Divinity Machine only because it's the Battle of Black Pyres, and Doomguy was apparently riding a dragon on the front lines, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense, because that's when he was a frontline fighter. After he got Divinity Machined, he got put on the tether, he got put on the leash, and he's like an attack dog that's unleashed when needed. The Witch. Born from the congealed madness of the cosmic realm, Ulsamir, known only as the Witch to the denizens of the Hell, is a living conduit for the dark magic coursing through her alien dimension. That's why she exploded! Okay, cool. Okay, this explains why she exploded when you, like, cut her, like, abdomen. Okay, cool. Her current body is but a temporary vessel, fragile and fleeting, used to manifest her malicious spirit in the physical world. Though she and her cult of chaos worshippers have allied with Prince Azrak, Ulsamir's allegiance is tenuous. Her ultimate loyalty remains with her own god, whose return she tirelessly seeks to ensure. She trades with the Demon Prince in ancient currencies of power, safe passage between her realm for her dormant god in exchange. Safe passage between realms for her dormant god in exchange for forbidden secrets buried in Argent D'Nur's hallowed depths. For her, this alliance is a means to an end, a step towards fulfilling her higher, inscrutable purpose. Commander Thera, the only child of King Novik, is the presumed heir to the Sentinel throne. How is she presumed to be the heir? It's either she's the heir or she's not. From an early age, she was rigorously trained and educated to prepare for a life of leadership and royal duty. Her mother, the late queen, played a pivotal role in shaping her path, particularly in teaching her the ancient mystical arts. So her mom knew that she was, like, the Wraith. Probably put the Wraith spirit in her at some point, or is why she was born with it. Maybe even why she has it in the first place. Maybe it's like a thing passed down through the female side. Like, the Wraiths are female, and so when a Wraith has a kid, they pass their spirit on to the next generation once they're old enough. And that would be why the Queen died. We don't know enough, because we don't know why the Queen died. But we know that she knew that she was the last Wraith and taught her to control it somewhat, but she died early on. Yeah, I think Hell is supposed to be like red pictures, whereas the Sentinels are like in black. Hell priests, neither flesh nor spirit holy, these wizened hierophants serve as the High Council's living conduits. Denied archdemonhood, they wield forbidden knowledge as a weapon and shield. Ancient Belius, eldest amongst their venerable ranks, has witnessed Hell's empires rise and crumble. Now this sagacious keeper observes Azric's campaign, his gnarled hands recording every triumph and folly for the Council's merciless judgment. Okay, so they're just fucking pencil pushers. And one of them was like, payment please to get on the barge to a zombie Doom guy and didn't expect to get his head blown off? Okay. A warrior of legend, Commander Valen stands as the last of an elite order, his name etched in the annals of Sentinel history. Fearless and resolute, he has waged war for decades against the enemies of Argent D'Nur, yet the horrors he has seen weigh heavy upon him. His greatest battle now lies not on the field, but within. His son, eager to claim glory in his father's legendary name, walks the same bloody path. Oh, they really are hinting at it. Oh, lordy. Merrick's fighting ability surpasses that of even his father, Commander Valen. Gifted with speed and fearlessness, Marik's legend grows with each battle. Unlike his father, Merrick distrusts the now enhanced Slayer, believing that a power such as his should be under Sentinel control. Oh, how the turns will table. So, Valen trusts Doomguy because he's fought alongside him and knows he has compassion, whereas Merrick's like, I should have that power. Me, not him. I want it. It should be a Sentinel that's that strong, not some outsider. And it's like, well, maybe there's a reason the outsider is capable of handling that strength and not you. Huh? The Imp is among the most common of Hell's low-born demons, starving the scavengers that feed on carrion. Covered in rows of jagged spikes and protected by a tough, leathery hide, imps strike with searing projectiles forged from the hellfire coursing through their veins. And yes, we are on to enemies. Zombies serve Hell as the shambling remnants of conquered species. Their once distinct forms now grotesquely deformed by the corrupting influence of demonic energy. Stripped of their identities, they wander the battlefield as mindless thralls to demonic masters. Actually, I don't even think I even need to like open up like the more info for most of these. Well, I didn't, and I won't for a couple, but... Soldiers. These demons serve as the expendable vanguard of Hell's armies. The Horde's allegiance is fiercely contested, as commanding it signifies ultimate authority and dominance within the infernal hierarchy. Imp Stalkers. Born from Hell's searing chasms of fire and brimstone, Imp Stalkers are predatory hunters with a great step, larger and more cunning than skittering Imp Brethren. They tirelessly stalk their prey with a degree of intelligence absent in other demons in their rank. While closing in on their enemies, they unleash waves of fire that track and even anticipate their target's movements, as if the flames themselves bear sentience. They are especially threatening in close quarters, where they quickly lash out with searing hot claws that rip through flesh and metal with ease. Their general disregard for self-preservation makes them well equipped to serve as frontline soldiers. Pinky Riders. Reptilian steeds of the Archer-class demons, these horned quadrupeds bring speed and ferocity to Azric's invading force. Spawned in the hellfire pits of the Umbral Plains, the Pinky Riders, as the Sentinels call them, are discarded by the Demon Prince the moment their war-torn bodies falter. Riders choose their mounts for fleeting glory in the underworld's halls, yet these beasts are no loyal companions. Many a Sentinel has witnessed the horrors of Pinkies turning on their riders, feasting on their flesh amid the chaos of battle. Hell Cultists. The Sentinel Cultists, once esteemed scholars of Argent D'Nur, fell victim to their own ambition, drawn to the enigmatic power of an unseen dimension. They sought to harness its frequency, unaware they were courting the essence of Hell itself. Their experiments shattered their sanity, twisting their brilliance into cruelty. Now under the dominion of Prince Azric, they channel their corrupted intellect to breach the dimensional barrier, opening portals that unleash demonic hordes upon their homeland. Betrayers of their kin, the cultists' once noble purpose has been perverted into a dark legacy of ruin and servitude to Hell's will. So the priests are why Hell is even on Argent D'Nur, because Hell kicked Doomguy out. Like, after Doom 3, Doomguy was in Hell, and he was just killing demons, left, right, and center. And they're like, okay, we can't kill him. Let's get him out of Hell. Let's get him somewhere where he can't get back to us. Here's a random place. Let's send him there. Different universe from where he was. Because Hell is connected to all universes, but it's basically multiple Earth theory because the Father made a multiverse. And so this Argent D'Nur is a different universe from where Doomguy is originally from, which is why the Mars that you go to in 2016 is different from the previous Marses, and why it acts as a reboot, because he's in a different world now. Same with Earth being a different Earth that never faced Hell before, and why they didn't know about it until, they were being slaughtered. But while Doomguy appeared on Argent D'Nur and he was fighting and he was doing all that, the Sentinels discovered Hell on their own, and then they brought Hell to Argent D'Nur. And it's just lucky that they already had Doomguy there to be like, oh, we have a solution in the palm of our hand. Shield soldiers. These demonic foot soldiers wield shields forged from Dreadsteel, a black iron extracted from the volcanic pits of Hell itself. The Dreadsteel's infernal origin imbues the shields with an aura of malevolence, making them both a potent defense and... making them both a potent defense and a symbol of Hell's relentless power. The Hell Knight, a monstrous brute of Hell's legions, thrives on the chaos of domination and submission. These aggressive predators, bound by blood to the reigning demon lord, are the embodiment of raw, unbridled power. Their existence is a struggle for survival, their ranks ruthlessly cold until only the strongest endure. Stone Imps are a deviant mutation of the imp species. Azric's war priests bred these creatures in subterranean vats of biomatter, which supercharge their already aggressive nature, pushing them even further into a state of mindless fury. Okay, so Azric made these things. Fuck. God, I hate Azric. Azric, whatever his name is. I don't even care. Azarath Metrion Zinthos made the worst enemy in Eternal. God, I hate him. Among the ranks of the Imp Stalkers, the elusive Nightmare Imp Stalker emerges as spectral variants, their near-invisible forms weaving fear and surprise into the battlefield. Born from strange cosmic magic and hell energies, fused between dimensions of the corporeal and ethereal by cultic psychomancers, They strike from the shadows, their presence a chilling reminder of dimensions that exist even beyond hell. So they're like a hell eldritch combination? Or delving into the realm of ghosts? Because I think it's a bit of both. But Nightmare, or the Spectres in 2016, the Invisible Pinkies, we don't get many invisible enemies in Eternal. Which I think is a good thing, because that game's chaotic enough. We don't need invisible enemies thrown into the mix. But Imp Stalkers and the Spectres, which are invisible pinkies, seem to have like a similar backstory. I'm just going to scroll down so I can be on the next set. Mancubus, a gluttonous mass of smoldering hellfire. The Mancubus functions as the lumbering artillery of Azraq's demonic horde. These grotesque beasts engorge endlessly, devouring rotten flesh with a relentless hunger until their organs burst within their bloated frames. Driven by primal lust for carnage, they kill and consume without restraint, their cannibalistic frenzy fueling their own grotesque growth. When their corpulent bodies can no longer grow, they collapse, becoming a feast for younger Mancubi, perpetuating the endless, ravenous circle of death. Gross. Titans. In the annals of Hell's dark history, the Titan stands as tragic figures, once peaceful giants who roamed their verdant world as guardians of their realm. However, despite their immense power, the Titans were ill-suited for the true nature of warfare, and were utterly outmatched by the legions of Hell. With their forms twisted by the Dark Realm's malice, and their minds enslaved by the Hell's war priests, these towering demons lay waste to untold worlds. Aww. So they were just gentle giants, and then they got taken in by Hell, and Hell was like, hey, you're gonna fight. What? No, I don't wanna... They got Ghost Ridered. Man, that sucks. When the Titans of old were broken and subjugated under Hell's first empire... Oh, they were like the first things that Hell conquered. That's why Hell did so well. In the first world they conquered, they're like, oh, there's giants here? Hey, you're gonna work for us. Huh? We don't know how to fight. You'll learn. And then they made Titans, and then with the Titans they enslaved like lots of worlds. No wonder Hell got so big so quick. God damn. Under Hell's first empire, a small number were selected for modification. Cybernetic augments have transformed the Cyclops Titans into living war machines, single-minded sentries that unerringly obey the will of their masters. Lost souls are the remnants of humans condemned to damnation, their essence shattered into mere memories of mortality. The torment of merciless labor in Hell's flesh foundries broke their bodies and minds. Yet their spirits were denied the mercy of destruction. Instead, they were desecrated repeatedly, torn apart until only echoes remained. These wayward spirits wander aimlessly, devoid of thought or need, seeking only the final judgment that can release them. Chain Gunner. These guys might be the enemies I hate the most. Burdened with cursed weaponry that inflicts unending torment, they find absolution only in the carnage of battle. Their aggression surges unceasingly, coursing through their veins like molten lead, a torment that fuels their mindless ferocity. This unbearable anguish finds release only in the deafening roar of the hyperballistic firearm grafted to their limb. Vagaries. Spawned from the churning morass of Hell's blackened swamps, the Vagary walk the path of ruin, bound to no master, sworn only to suffering. Azraq whispers of blood and carnage, and so they follow, drawn to the agony he spreads like a plague. They drink deep from the despair of the damned, feeding on misery as a leech feasts on lifeblood. His war is endless, and for the Vagary, it is an unholy feast without end. Hellships. The skies of... actually, do I even... Do I even need to enlarge? I don't. The skies of Sentinel battlefields are now haunted by the ominous presence of Hell ships, aerial monstrosities that mirror the grotesque design of Hell tanks. These airborne units are crafted from a macabre blend of organic materials, an example of Hell's unnatural biotechnology. And next page. Hellcarrier. The Hellcarriers, colossal galleons of bone and sinew, embody the horrors of Hell's ancient past. Constructed on using the remains of primordial beasts, these frames exude a dark majesty. The damned toil eternally in the lower decks, driving infernal engine fueled by the spirits of Hell's victims. Once relics of a bygone era, these vessels have been resurrected by Prince Azrek to serve a dire purpose, powering massive portals capable of summoning Hell Titans. Revitalized by the young prince, the Hell Carriers now spearhead the invasion of Argent-D'Nur, heralding doom with their haunting presence. So, like, the first and second Empires of Hell were smart, and they did a lot of work. And then after that, there had to have been, like, a coup or something. And then some idiots were like, let's just get strong and send strong demons to do stuff. We don't need the Titans anymore. Let's just overwhelm our foes with numbers. And it worked, but Azrek's like, hey, we have a Slayer working against us now. Let's pull out all the stops. Let's bring back all our old tech. Let's bring back all our old shit that was, like, why we are so large. And let's use it again. And it's working. The Cyber Demon, highest amongst Hell's infernal ranks, are ancient mythical beasts, elders of the Horde. Masters of annihilation, they command the lesser beasts with calculated brutality, driving them toward Prince Azrek's dark vision. Their lineage stretches back to the primeval age of the post-Jakad era, their history steeped in blood and fire. Fearing rebellion, Azrek severed the tendons of their mighty wings, grounding them in eternal servitude. Yet bound by instinct and tradition, these warlords remain loyal to their master. So, if they're loyal to you, why did you clip their wings? They would be so much harder to fight if they could fly. I'm glad they don't. But Azrek really crippled himself there. And I do like that post-Jakad era. Because Hell was originally Jakad, but the father, Vega, banished Davoth, God, to Jakad, where he was trying to work on making his creations immortal like him. Because he's like, I just want everyone to live forever. I see death and I don't like it. I'm immortal. Why can't everyone else be immortal? And Vega didn't like it and cast him away. And then Jakad turned into Hell. So, like, the Cyber Demons are, like, among the first that Davoth ever made, which is kind of cool. Hell Tanks are forged from the colossal remains of Titans under the guidance of Prince Azrek's War Priests. These sentient machines are unmanned and directed by sorcery to prowl the battlefields for prey. Oh, tank tools are yellow. I guess they're another, like, hybrid thing, because contact with the cosmic realm infects other realities, spreading insidious growth at the breach points between dimensions. Buried within these grotesque organic material lie the malevolent tentacles, a natural extension of an unknown cosmic intelligence. So anytime you see tentacles in either Eternal or Dark Ages, and you can see it has, like, the cosmic realm symbol in the top right. Which, let me see if there's any others that have that. This says it's like cosmic magic and hell energies, but it's not from the cosmic realm. Still, it doesn't look like hell, so... yeah, anytime you see a tentacle, that's cosmic realm. Which I guess, between Dark Ages and Eternal, Hell takes over the cosmic realm, which would make sense because the witch is dead, all the Cthulhus are dead, and they make the Cacodemons Hell servants because they're no longer... there's no more cosmic realm for them, so they just bring them to Hell, and then they become the Cacodemons that we know, and eventually Pain Elementals. Revenant. Only Hell's most wretched and broken victims ascend to the Revenant class. Twisted scavengers, they fight alone, bound by no loyalty, sacrificing all in pursuit of their prey. A homing missile of pure hatred, their tortured minds find fleeting solace only in the suffering they unleash. With every scream they conjure, their torment briefly fades, driving them ever deeper into the madness of their eternal, merciless hunt. Whiplash. A slithering matron of hell, the Whiplash coils through the abyss, a copulent mass of gnarled flesh and ancient malice. Feared even among demons, these reptilian wardens lurk in the shadows of the High Priest, their coils a living barrier between the young Prince Azric and those who would seek his ruin. Fierce and cunning, they are the keepers of lore, their whispered wisdom shaping the fate of the damned. Bound in sisterhood, their insular brood ensures the endless torment of hell, thriving in suffering, eternal in purpose. Eternal reference? Agadon Hunters. Outlanders torn from distant worlds, the Agadon Hunters were enslaved and corrupted by Hell's dark will. Once noble beast stalkers for their clans, they now serve Azric's horde, their minds twisted and bodies reshaped. Marked prey as are their quarries, chosen by the Dark Priest's decree. Enhanced to rival even the Slayer's martial prowess, these savage predators roam the battlefield, driven by a cruel purpose etched in hellfire. So that leads me to believe that it's not that the Gladiator is a proto, or that these are a proto-Gladiator, but that the Gladiator itself is the last of the Agadon Hunters. Which would kind of make sense, like in the Alpha and the last one alive. Cacodemon hybrids are ancient fragments of a vast hive mind, their twisted thoughts feeding the unknowable gods who reign over the suffocating lowlands. These creatures, once part of the demonic hierarchy of hell, have been corrupted by the eldritch manipulations of the witch. Oh, I guess it's the other way around. Huh. They drift across the lowlands, their eyeless gaze seeking wandering minds to consume, devouring thought and memory to sustain their eternal, maddening communion with the gods. Giant Cacodemon. An unholy fusion of Hell's sphere beasts and the witch's cosmic horrors. I do like how they use the word cosmic and beyond the stars instead of the abyss, eldritch. Except for sparingly. They will use eldritch, but not a lot. They prefer cosmic. These monstrosities drift through darkened skies on wings unseen. Though already colossal, these abominations would, given centuries, swell to engulf entire worlds in their ravenous maws. So, if they kept like one alive, they would grow to be absolutely enormous. But they're just sitting them out in a battle when they're already, like, just big. Komodo, towering behemoths of Hell's infernal legions, are a terrifying fusion of raw power and murderous instinct. These monstrous warriors earn their place in Prince Azric's chosen vanguard through brutal trials of combat. Wielding their weapons with uncanny skill, the Komodos are merciless as they are disciplined, striking fear into Hell's enemies and its denizens alike. Any sign of weakness, friend or foe, is met with swift, lethal violence. The Komodo embody the essence of destruction, an unstoppable force in the service of Hell's dark dominion. The Cosmic Baron, a construct of eldritch design, emerges from the mollusk vats of the Okarith Synthesis, techno-sorcerers of the cosmic realm. Oh, the Okarith Synthesis are techno-sorcerers. Okay. Forged through forbidden gene splicing, its grotesque form mirrors the Barons of Hell and marks the unholy union between their worlds. And the Acolytes. Once hallowed sentinel priests of Argent-Nur, now vessels of cosmic corruption. Their souls twisted by the witch's eldritch touch. There it is. These fallen oracles peer beyond mortal veil with minds poisoned by alien essence. The cosmic taint courses through their veins, bestowing forbidden sight and powers that rend the fabric of reality. They serve as one, a serpent with many heads, each a fragment of their mistress's unfathomable design. Through them, the malice of realms beyond bleeds into the world they once swore to protect. Maker drones. And they're yellow, like the Maker stuff. Drones are the lowest echelon of Maker society, and are trained to fulfill the edicts of their superiors without question. They are rarely seen outside the confines of the Creed Maker's ship, where they monitor the Slayer's tether and security of his holding cell. So it is a cell, it's a cage. And finally, the Old One. The Old One, the fallen god of the cosmic realm, was resurrected by Prince Azric's dark priest in a vile act of domination. Once revered as the witch's deity, its revival bound her and it the Hell's service. Yet resurrected by a Hell's hand carries a dreadful price. What returns is never the same. Stripped of chaotic divinity, the Old One rises now as a corrupted machine of terror, bound in monstrous service to Hell's will, enslaved to darkness for all eternity. So, no longer a god, it's just a titan with some eldritch cosmic powers. That's kind of lame. The village of Kaleem is a rugged outpost, and we're on to locations now. Towering extraction rigs harvest primordium essence, a raw, volatile precursor to the sentinel energy drawn from the fossilized remains of Argentina's prehistoric titans. Perched on the edge of a storm-lashed coast, Kaleem doubles as a vital seaport, its harbors bustling with the transport of this precious resource. The village's immense energy signature makes it a coveted prize for invaders, but its fortifications bristle with defenses. From towering gun emplacements to reinforced walls, Kaleem holds defiant, a hardened bastion protecting the lifeblood of Sentinel innovation. Hebeth lies on a distant planet from Argentinur, Hell. It was chosen at the dawn of the war with Hell as the site for the transdimensional barrier, a colossal construct designed to halt demonic incursions. Once an interdimensional port facilitating off-world travel, Hebeth's barrier was built by Sentinel engineers as a defense mechanism powered by the planet's rich veins of Ethereum crystals. Its hyperphase lattice cores generate a quantum disruption field, severing Hell's abilities to open portals into Argentinur. The mind energy is channeled through the antimatter conduits, beaming the field across dimensions to shield the entire dimension from invasion. Oh. So, Hell invaded when the priest contacted them. They found a way to set up a barrier, but then the Hell priests are still corrupted, and they're keeping corrupting people. So they're opening portals to let more demons in to make more corruption. Okay, cool. Cool. Sentinel Barracks. Built atop the titanic skeletal remains of ancient ancestrals rises Kantoth, the sister city to Exultia. Oh, Exultia, cool. Kantoth is renowned for the training of the fiercest legions of Sentinel warriors. At its heart, the towering Sentinel Barracks pierces the clouds, housing the revered Argent Enclave where Sentinel clans convene. Across the valley, the Dark Helm looms, crowned by a colossal ancestral skull where dragons are raised and trained for battle. Sentinels embark on a perilous pilgrimage through the mountains to reach Kantoth, undergoing rigorous initiations to prove their resolve. Only the most decorated knights can earn the honor of bonding with a dragon and joining the elite ranks of the Order Arum, a formidable mounted unit that soars into battle. Oh, so that's the Order Arum. So they're the ones that train the dragons. Sarret was a big motherfucker that just didn't want to listen. And then they're like, look, we got this outsider. He's pretty strong. He's also going to be on the front lines. Let's see if he can tame this dragon. And then he did. And they're like, oh, shit. We weren't expecting him to succeed? What the fuck? Holy City of Artem floats in ethereal splendor above Argentinur, a sprawling sanctuary of gilded spires and luminous halls. This sacred epicenter of Sentinel theology houses relics and texts from the age of the Ancestrals, preserved despite the outlawing of wraith worship in favor of devotion to the Makers. Why is it outlawed? That's weird. I can understand you'd prefer the Makers, but it could have been like, despite the lack of interest in faith worship, that would be fine. Especially since, you know, Theodora is a wraith. But the fact that the Makers essentially outlawed wraith worship is very strange. Especially since that's where the Sentinels get their power. But that makes sense in Eternal lore, because the factions split between those that went back to the Wraiths and the Makers, and then the Makers convinced the Hell Priest to convince Commander Valen to lead them to the Wraiths in exchange for his son's life, and then the Icon of Sin was born. Priceless artifacts line its opulent chambers, studded in reverence but guarded only by tradition. Untouched by war, the city's sanctity is upheld by an unspoken law. To spill blood here is to invite the wrath of the gods themselves. Siege Part 1. Beyond the fortress walls of Terrath lies a desolate landscape, sacred ground where the legacies of old wars are scarred into the battlements and burnt into the earth itself. In the lower levels of the city lie the merchant and industrial districts, now exposed and vulnerable to the rampaging hordes of demons led by Prince Azric. This battlefield, soaked with the blood of heroes and friends alike and fiends alike, continues to inspire grim determination in those who stand against the ever-looming corruption of hell. Terrath, a bastion of sentinel might and heritage, stands as a grim symbol of resilience in Argent D'Nur, and the indomitable spirit of the Night Sentinels. Under the leadership of Lord Varen, a master of the court renowned for their diplomatic prowess, the warring clans of the region have been unified to face a common enemy. Within the citadel, a large population of sentinel warriors and civilians endure, ever vigilant against the encroaching corruption of hell. Okay, so I guess the Night Sentinels were like Earth, in that there's like lots of different cultures. Nobody's really like friends, they're all kind of fighting, and then hell happens, and then it's like, hey, we gotta work together. This is bigger than us. Abyssal Forest. Once a hallowed woodland on Argent D'Nur, known infamously as the Abyssal Forest, this was a realm where sentinels communed deeply with their deities, wraiths. Yet the insidious tendrils of hell crept upon them, twisting their minds. In the heart of the forest, within a forsaken sentinel outpost, enacted a demonic summoning rite. From this epicenter, corruption spread like a plague, mutating the forest into a nightmare expanse. Aww. And I've read this one before, about to read it again. In ancient times, two titanic ancestrals, Theodoric the Mighty and Elegus the Wise, clashed in a battle of unimaginable ferocity. The earth trembles as Theodoric struck down Elegus with a colossal blade, its impact forming the mountain range that now cradles the Titan's Forge. Within the remains of the Draconic Ancestral, the Sentinels wrought a Forge of Legend. Here they mine the Ancestral's remains and extract the ancient blood, distilling into arcane fuel. Arcane High Priest from bygone eras can awaken the dormant energies within the ancient giant sword, imbuing the ancestral blood with otherworldly power. And again, as I said, with the knowledge that Thera is a wraith, and that's why she's able to do stuff because she was taught the old ways, which is technically illegal. It would have made more sense if Elegus struck down Theodoric, and then the blood of the strong mixed with the power of the sword made by the wise made that power. Instead, it's the sword made by the strong, and then the blood of the wise. It just doesn't line up as well. One more. Oh, that's it. Cool. Almost done. The Abyssal Keep was raised in the shadow of forgotten ages and shaped by the enslaved remains of Hell's vanquished, a grim tapestry of agony and despair. It has served as the seat of only the most formidable lords of Hell, a throne won through blood and treachery. Now it is the domain of Azric, whose cunning has solidified his rule. At the war's dawn, Novik led an assault against the keep, but underestimated the prince's tactical brilliance, a departure from the brutish rulers of Hell's past. The Sentinels, battered and outmatched, abandoned their mission and left to keep in an unassailable bastion of Hell's Dominion. So Novak's like, we're gonna go and we're gonna fight them. And it's like, oh shit, they have tactics. Retreat, retreat, retreat! Sentinel Command Station. Thera's command station drifts like a steel leviathan over the frozen tundra of Argentina's northern frontier, a marvel of Sentinel engineering forged during the Crimson Uprising. Suspended by Argent-powered graviton engines, its towering structure pierces the icy mists, bristling with defensive batteries and energy disruptors capable of repelling even the fiercest invaders. Built decades ago and encased in reinforced wraith steel to counter the relentless assault of the ironclad tribes, it has since become the nerve center of Commander Thera's operations in the war against Hell. Inspired near Earth-Rule, we're entering the cosmic stuff. Beneath the northern sea of Estovia lies a colossal prison, forged by a long-forgotten covenant between Sentinels and Wraiths to subdue a cosmic being of unknown origins. Hidden from the worlds, the very seas were parted to construct a cage capable of containing the massive creature. How they managed to subdue it remains unknown. The legends speak of a weapon with a destructive scale beyond comprehension, the BFC. Oh, and there's that symbol that I was talking about that I recognized with the tentacle. It's just on the other, it's just mirrored over here. So yeah, the tentacles are cosmic. The mysterious creature still lies in the center of this labyrinthine stronghold, within a writhing cocoon, a slumbering titan awaiting the day of awakening. City of Raul. The cosmic realm is a dimension of unfathomable dread where reality warps and sanity falters. Ancient structures of impossible geometry rise from blackened seas, their surfaces pulsing with unholy runes. The skies churn with colors unknown, inhabited by titanic beings that defy comprehension. The oracles of Argent seers and keepers of forbidden knowledge whisper of a theory that the Wraiths, Argentina's ancient gods, may trace their origins to this very realm, which is true. And that's lore you get, like, 1, 2, like, 3, yeah, 3, because you go from the city to the marshes to the temple. So I guess there's no, lore page for the marshes? That's weird. This vast graveyard of vessels adrift in the void is a haunting testament to those who dared or unknowingly crossed into the cosmic realm. Ships from countless dimensions and epochs litter their desolate expanse, their shattered hulls suspended in eternal and silent drift. Some were explorers lured by forbidden knowledge, while others were hapless victims of rifts that swallowed them whole. Their crews, long consumed by the madness of the realm, leave behind only fragments of their stories, scattered among the debris. Oh, and the Harbor of Souls is, like, cosmic too. Cool. Because it's also green. In the darkest depths of the first layer of Hell, the Harbor of Souls channels the damned forward to their eternal torment. Here they are ordained by their sins, their fates were sealed in the infernal fires of purgatory. Rivers of tormented souls swirl through the jagged, calcified landscape, while others wander in the lost halls of despair. The damned are herded like cattlemen into the river barge, where the ferryman delivers to their destined lair of Hell. So why is that green? That should be red, because this is Hell, not Cosmic Realm. And Resurrection. The Castle of Eldorax stands resilient with ancient walls forged from Aetherstone, a material said to resonate with the spirits of fallen warriors. For centuries, Eldorax has weathered countless sieges, from the feral onslaughts of the ironclad tribes to the aerial bombardment of the Zyvorian conclave. Yes, defenses have never faltered. Until Hell. And that is every bit of lore in Doom the Dark Ages. That is the full codex. Read through. And with that, I will bid you adieu. As I begin my Pandemonium or Extra Life playthrough. so I can get my reference skin, and then eventually I'll do the Conqueror. But I will catch you guys whenever there's a new game to play. I might be streaming Minecraft. Who knows? But I will catch you guys later. Peace, peace.